Are you a beginner golfer looking to work on your setup? Are you looking for golf tips to help you improve? Then today's lesson could be exactly what you need to hit the golf ball further, hit it straighter, and also get that handicap and get it lower like you want to this year. So guys, welcome back to Get Good at Golf. And if you're new to the channel, please do consider hitting that subscribe button. And if you are a regular viewer of the channel, welcome back. But today we are talking about how we can get in the correct setup to allow you to play better golf, and as we know, get good at golf. So if you want to hit the ball further, if you want to hit it straighter, if you want to hit more greens, if you want to lower your handicap or get your first handicap, then this is what we need to talk through today. So you'll have seen some shots at the start of this video, and this is what we see a lot from beginners. And the first thing that myself and James see is people getting into golf. Okay, I've got to get that stance shoulder width apart. We get very narrow here, feet are pointing forwards, and we start to see missed strikes. So we start to see people catching the ball heavy, we start to see people thinning the ball, we start to see people even topping the ball and hitting shots just like that. Luckily, avoided the water there, but that doesn't get you wanting to play golf. That's not helping you get good at golf, and that posture right there is not what we want to see on the driving range or on that golf course. So the next thing that we see from ourselves is, again, we start to see people getting extremely wide. Okay, I want to hit this ball as far as possible, so if I've got a bigger or a wider stance, I'm going to be able to put more into this. And we start to see a similar thing. A lot of people will put a lot of effort in there, and from here, they'll be hanging back, and you'll see that ball has gone incredibly high, and unfortunately, that has come up 30 yards short of my target. So you will feel like you've put a lot of effort in there. And again, you've used maybe your 8 iron, you've used your 6 iron, you've even used your driver, and you're not hitting it as far as your friends because your club is returning like this. So you're turning your 8 iron maybe into something like a lob wedge. So we're just not getting that distance. You're putting all your efforts in there and we're not able to maximize your distance. We're not going to pure the golf ball. We're not going to strike the golf ball. And that's exactly what we want, not only for beginner golfers, but also for somebody who's been playing a long time. You might be middle handicap, you might be a 12 to 18 handicapper. You want to get down into those elusive single figures, but we're just not getting the strike. We're not compressing that golf ball. So there's a few things we need to make sure are right. So one big thing is that stance, because we often see that people aren't transferring their weight. So we say that we want to see from the top of that golf swing, we want to get your weight onto the left. So you'll see all tour players or your best players in the world will start actually shifting their weight left before they complete that backswing. From there, they can start to rotate. And as they come down, you will see that weight is on the left. You'll see how my hands are forwards and we are compressing that golf ball. So we can see that weight forward, sternum ahead of that golf ball, and we're then able to get that ball coming out lower with more ball speed, with a little bit more control on direction. And as a result, like we see on the PGA Tour, on the DP World Tour, and the Live Tour, we see people hit more greens. So how many greens do you miss? How many times are you misstriking your irons and it's costing you shots? Well, let's make sure we set up with a good base for that to start with. So the first thing I want you to do is make sure we are shoulder width apart. And it's very easy to say that, okay, just get into this position. But what I want you to do is start to get into a routine. So if I've got the golf ball here, I'm going to start with my feet together. And I'm going to make sure that I make a good step both ways. I'd like to say 6 inches both ways roughly, and you'll see now that we've also turned this left foot out. So that is going to help me rotate into that golf ball, which will help me get into that position right there. Forward shaft lean, get that ball being compressed and getting that pure strike that we desire. So from there, we're also ticking another box. So without realizing there, we've done 2 things there. We've been able to not only get the right stance width so we can make a good backswing and also transfer our weight, but we've also got that ball position correct. So how many times I see people stand here and they get the ball position back here, for example. It's very far back. You'll see then if I'm making a good swing, I could make a perfect swing here, but that club's still on its way down and that club face is pointing a long way right. So if you catch it a little bit thin and hit it way out to the right, that's because your ball position could be too far back and you see that club face is extremely open, and that's going to make us miss that shot to the right of the green. The opposite is we see from some golfers, because you want to do what? you want to help that ball up into the air. You think that you've got to help that ball up in the air. That ball position gets an extremely long way forwards. I'm then leaning back. And when I come into the golf ball, if we've not caught the ground early, I'm either going to catch it in the middle or that club face is going to be pointing left. So you see there that is closed, that ball is going to go extremely high, but it's also going to be curving to the left. So we're not compressing that golf ball. So if we get into the routine of making sure that my feet start together, we're going to go 6 inches to the left, 6 inches to the right, and we're going to get that left foot turned out. We've got a ball position there, especially with a mid-iron, bang in the middle of our stance. That's going to help us shift our weight ahead of that and hit down into the golf ball, because that is what we want to do. A lot of people, not only beginners, but your everyday golfers, always think, oh, I want to pick it off nice and clean. That's what the good tour players do. And that's not correct. That's not what they do. They are hitting down into the golf ball. They catch the golf ball first, then they take their divot. Whereas we see from 95% of golfers, you'll be catching the ground before that golf ball. And let's make sure we commit to that routine. So feet together, 6 inches, 6 inches, and then from there, commit to that shot. We're in a good position here now to build a good backswing. And then get through into that finish position. You can see that ball's come off a lot faster. You can see that's landed on the green, and we've now got a chance to be able to hopefully have a couple of putts. So we've got to make sure that we do this consistently. Like we've said in this video, it's all about being consistent, and that's what we want to be in golf. We can get that routine consistent. We can get that pure strike that we are looking for. We can get exactly what we want from our golf clubs. We know then that our 8-iron is going to go the distance that I want it to from the effort that I'm putting in. And you'll start to find that if we do this, we're not having to try and hit the golf ball. Because one big thing that we see from beginner golfers, and we see from, well, if we look down the driving range behind us here, we see a lot of people putting in a lot of effort in. How many people go to the driving range, they come off out of breath, sweating, and they feel like they haven't really hit the ball that far? That is all of us, to be honest. And in here, it's extremely warm today. But you can see that I was very much in balance, so I can start to get into a consistent setup, and I can get into that finish position that we see on the television. You can see that I'm in balance, I'm through on my left hand side, and I can still speak to the camera because I'm not here putting too much effort in. I'm not trying to hit the golf ball. We're trying to get this golf club to swing and do the work for us. So guys, if you're wanting to get good at golf this year, then do keep watching this channel. We're going to help you with daily golf tips on here. I'll see you again tomorrow.